I just thought of something radical reason why they are attacking black districts and gerrymandering, not just for the usual historical reason, like they just want to attack their community because they've always been anti-black from the beginning of this nation. It's just built on black people to the end, and the resilience, the fact that they bounce back, all the reasons. Yes, they exist. That's true. But here's an additional political reason. I just pieced it together, and it's going to piece together former West Virginia Senator Robert Byrd, who I think is the Byrd Rule is named after him, and the historical population survey that says they used to say by 2045 the United States is going to be majority non-white, with the Hispanic and Latino population being the majority. And that number has been accelerated to 2037. 2037 is 11 years from now. That's like a little over one census away. They're waking up to realization like, oh, smack, we didn't get on this faster. They're coming for us. They're trying to replace us, the great replacement theory. That's what a lot of people believe. Folks are hesitant to mention that because for whatever reason, but that's a big part of it. So anyway, so here's the fear that what Senator Byrd was able to do in West Virginia, besides being a Democrat, when he finagled his way into like the chair of the Ways and Means Committee, the seniority, it took some time. He funded a lot of projects back to West Virginia. And so despite the fact that he's been a Democrat, he got a lot of stuff in West Virginia. So they appreciate it. So they kept sending that Democrat back, though West Virginia is traditionally red. But they kept sending him back because of what he did for him. So that's the fear. Because with the population shift, with all of the ways people come to the United States, this is why they're attacking legal immigration. The ways people come to the United States, there's a queue. In the queue is people who are refugees, asylum seekers, people come for temporary protected status, people come on H-1B visas because they're coming temporarily because they're tech workers, people come for U visas because we have a shortage of nurses, so they come in, kids who come here because they're unaccompanied minors or they're trafficked kids, so there's a visa for them. So all the various different ways that you can come into the country legally are filled with people of color, including the diversity visa. That is what Donald Trump was talking about his first term during his campaign. It's kind of like they're all coming in from all these countries. That's like not wink to the white people. Like why he got 77 million people. Like he couldn't have got 77 million people. There's a lot of white people who's just like, yeah, we're about to lose power. What happens when the population shifts and they become the minority is because, the House of Representatives, you get two senators each. No, Senate, you get two senators each. In the House of Representatives, it depends on your population. So what happens when your population tips over? Right now, the population of Louisiana is 30% black. Add a couple of people, those foreigners, those folks, colors, that tips over to all of a sudden, they now control. What happens when you have more people, and as you can't gerrymander out because they're going to just overpower you. And once they overpower you, they're going to be getting those coveted seats in the Congress and in the state houses. And then they're going to controlling things and they're going to maneuvering things and things like that. And that's not the fear. That's not the fear. The fear is not just alone that they lose power politically, and that's what they're fighting, and that's what they're like, oh no. The fear, and it's not fear that they're gonna, which is part of it, that we're going to do to them what they've done to us, because there's a history of the folks in power that purposefully oppressed and marginalized communities that were minority. That's not just it. What they're scared of, and this is why they attack black people, is they're scared of the resilience and you being effective and doing for the red communities. If Texas, for example, were to get a blue senator, a Democrat senator, or get more blue seats, and after they get these blue seats, the people in the blue seats are going to work more for things like affordability, for lower housing prices, for subsidized housing, for food, moderate, for increased wages, for prescription drug costs. They're going to actually work to help these people's lives get better. The way that Robert Byrd helped the people of West Virginia's life get better, and they continue to send Robert Byrd back to the Senate despite the fact that he's a Democrat. Joe Manchin, too. Joe Manchin. Why is this red state sending these senators to Congress time and time? Is because they're like, we like what you do for us. So despite the fact that culturally we're like more bluegrass, we're more like gun loving, we're more like a hunter culture, we're more about, our religion and things like that. We're more about traditional conservative values. But we're going to send this Democrat who's doing stuff for us back to Congress. And that's the fear. That when they let these black people, because these black people and these other people of color, I mean, not just black, like Hispanic, Latino, Asians, Americans, some of them, When they get into office and they join the Democratic Party, they help out the people, they help the communities, and they get them services. Right now, the red states are at the bottom when it comes to wealth, when it comes to opportunities, when it comes to the healthy index, when it comes to quality of life, when it comes to all sorts of things, education. They're at the bottom. They're run by red people, but they're at the bottom, and they continue to vote for Republicans because they're at the bottom. When the population shifts and they're forced to be represented by a blue, and that blue person makes their life better, they may start to wake up and say, shit, I've always voted for Republican. When I did, my life was shit. Now I'm forced to have this Democrat, and this Democrat is helping my life. What the fuck? Maybe I should start voting for Democrats. Maybe I was wrong all this time. That's the revelation. They're scared that those Republican voters are going to turn into the Republican voters of West Virginia that keep sending a Democrat that helps them back to Congress. That is it. That's the bigger thing. That's the bigger picture. You know there has to be a bigger picture. It's, it's a low-hanging fruit to say, oh, they're just racist. Oh, they just want to oppress us. Oh, this, which all true. Oh, they're just, which is all true. But that's like superficial, kind of like, okay, but that you always have to look behind. Peel back the curtain. Or push back the curtain. Yeah, peel back a layer of the onion. I'm mixed metaphors here. Push off the curtain. Unveil the unveiledness. Go through the thin veneer of bullshit. Wade through the water. Part the river. That is why they're scared that y'all are going to Joe Manchin, and that's the end of them. And the reason why they want to keep the way it is because they like it. These people, they ain't gonna do shit for these people, and they keep putting them back in office, and they just making a lot of money and just selling off and just living life and keeping them poor and keeping them voting for them, despite the fact that they do nothing for them. All they have to do is say that these people are coming for you. The trans are coming for your way of life. The blacks are coming for your jobs and opportunities. The Hispanics are coming to replace you. Just keep telling them that so they can just focus on that they're not doing anything for them. When it's forced and they have to, time's going to change. That's it. I cracked the code, y'all. What do you think? Let's talk below.